That I also worked at the One Stop office with Cody. Before that, goes all the way back. I started as a student worker in 2012. I used to work for the Wellness and Recreation Center, also worked as a peer advisor, and worked as a student worker in the One Stop office as well.
So I graduated in 2018 with my bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies, and I did a certificate in environmental studies. After that, I pursued a master's in emergency and disaster management at FIU. And the emergency and disaster management field set me up for my current path in public service. So I took that experience into the fire academy and then more recently into the police academy.
I did my bachelor's degree in recreation and sport management, also got a certificate in environmental studies, did the master's in disaster management, also like Cody. And then, I always joke at FIU that a master's in disaster management is perfect for everything that we deal with here in administration. But I chose not to take and practice in that field, so I still work here at the university. And I'm currently pursuing EDD in adult education and human resource development.
Yes, so I'm currently serving in the Army Reserves. So I enlisted back in November of 2022. I'm on a 6-year contract. So what the Army Reserves is that you serve generally once a month, sometimes more than once a month, which that kind of could be a game. But FIU's been very good in allowing me to continue that service, but also, pursue the full-time employment and my academics.
Sure. I joined Theta Chi fraternity maybe 2013 or 2014. Had a great time. I was also the fraternity marshal or pledge educator, which was a really, really great experience. I served as the vice president as well. One of the great things with joining the fraternity is, you get the brotherhood, which is really great. And when I traveled to different states, trips, conferences and whatnot, I'd get to visit different fraternity houses. They'd always welcome me. I can't count how many times I'd arrive at an airport and someone I've never met would just pick me up and say, hey, you can stay at our place, for a few days, which was really great. You also learn about philanthropy, service, giving back, and that's something I wasn't familiar with until joining a fraternity. And then you learn about leadership, so getting different roles, managing money, budgets. I was in charge at some points, $30,000, $40,000 with the fraternity, which was something I hadn't had prior experience doing. And I would definitely credit some of the leadership roles in the fraternity to where I am today.
Yeah, to tag off that, everything you said is true. I was a recruitment chair in the fraternity multiple years in a row. After recruitment chair, I actually ended up being the president of the fraternity going through my senior year of undergrad. That was a great experience, a lot of work. Once you get into the leadership roles, you kind of get away from that fun side. It's more of like an administrative position, trying to manage. I think at the time we were almost 60 members at the top of our level. So that was definitely an experience. And then on philanthropy, our fraternity philanthropy, we work with the USO, the United Service Organization, which ties directly into the military. So that's really cool to kind of tie that into what I'm doing right now. Yeah, so during my undergrad, I did a little bit of work with Relay for Life. I was a peer mentor. We did Best Buddies as well. And then at the time, one of the organizations was called Project Panther Life, which I believe now transitioned into Embrace. That was probably one of my more memorable experiences working with them. And then we actually had a Special Olympics team at FIU, and we made it to state championships for flag football and also for soccer.
Yeah, during undergraduate, I was a member of Student Government Association. I was a senator for education. I also was a graduate finance senator. I was a peer advisor. I was an RA over the summer. Did Panther Life as well, now currently Embrace. Also worked with Special Olympics, Student Conduct and Conflict Resolution, and quite a few other organizations as an undergraduate. Generally just tried to stay involved as much as I can. I would say probably my favorite memory would be studying abroad. I studied abroad many times. I went to Costa Rica, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, the Bahamas, Germany, many study abroad opportunities. I don't know that I would point to one particular, but I would say the opportunity to leave the country. So studying abroad was one of the first times I ever really left the country. And I think just having that opportunity really kickstarted, my desire to travel. And since that time, I've traveled pretty extensively, and I'm actually leading and teaching a study abroad program this coming summer 2025. And so I think just being with a group of your peers, rather than traveling on your own, you're with 15, 20 classmates, everything's kind of guided and planned, was definitely probably the best experience I can think of.
Yeah, my most memorable moment at FIU would have to be with the Project Panther Life. I think interacting with the students with disabilities and kind of making like an impact on their life, it teaches you a lot of things and more than you can teach them as well. And then we took that and, like I said, we went into Special Olympics. We went into teaching them how to live on their own when they lived in the dorms and gain life experiences and skills like that. And then traveling to like the state championships and Special Olympics, that was a lot of fun. First time for a lot of them to travel anywhere and to actually play sports. It was recorded on live TV, so that was definitely one of my favorite ones.
What influenced your time at FIU, or what influenced you most at FIU when you were here?
I think probably what influenced me the most is some of the directors, some of the staff. Staff in my graduate program definitely influenced me on my career choice. So in emergency and disaster management, a lot of our faculty were retired emergency managers, police chiefs, fire chiefs, things of that nature. And kind of hearing their stories about, how the career is something they have no regrets, no bad memories, no bad times. They kind of serve until they're old. They don't retire in 40 years. It's kind of a lifelong thing. And I took that with me, and like I said, I went to the fire academy, went to the police academy, joined the military, and I think public service in general.
I think diversity. We used to live, we lived in Kentucky for a little while, Indiana for a little while. Cape Coral was a little more diverse, but still not super diverse. Coming to Miami, coming to FIU, huge culture shock. Originally didn't like it very much, thought about leaving, but now, I definitely wouldn't change it. You get to explore different perspectives from around the world, learn about things that, wouldn't be talked about in other places. And actually, Cody and I are both married to, someone from a different country. So your wife's Trinidad, right?
Yep, Trinidad.
And then my wife's mother's side is from Costa Rica, and her father's from Dominican Republic. And so that's a big change to the family and big change to, our own experiences. So that was really cool.
And we actually met both of them here at FIU.
Yeah.
So,
FIU will give you life.
they're both graduates at FIU as well.
Yeah.
So two of my greatest professional accomplishments, one, we're both first generation college in the family. So that's definitely top one. And then the second one, joining the military, is something I always wanted to do. Did it a little bit later in life, but being able to serve my country and then also graduate college at the same time, I think those are my top two.
I would say becoming an associate director at I think I was 29 years old when I got the title officially, and I never thought I would get into high level administration, and so that was something that I'm definitely proud of. And then, like Cody said, graduating at all, right? No one in our family had ever gone to college, so getting a graduate degree is definitely setting a new bar. So very exciting.